everybody, and welcome to Heel Heat. This is our TNA show for the week. My name is George Coles. This is my tag team partner, Jimmy Wang Yang.
Idiot. Gary Rhodes, everybody. I did like Jimmy Wang Yang, though. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was a good character.
I did too. But anyway, on to the show, Jimmy Wang.
Every time we do it, I'm doing it.
All right, Redneck. First off, we had a challenge. Austin Aries challenged Jeff Hardy. I thought it was a really good opener. I thought the match was good. It was a good quality. I liked how Aries kept the pressure on him. They worked it different than two other matches that they had within the last year. I thought it was good. I
thoroughly enjoyed it. Aries brings a lot out of Hardy that Hardy doesn't have with other wrestlers. That's how great of an athlete Aries is. And this was a great opening match.
Well, I thought so too. It came out with the hot opener. I was ready to go. I was like, all right. After seeing that crap fest that was Monday Night Raw, I was excited to get some good wrestling on. Then we come back from break and we got Wes Briscoe in the ring because Kurt Angle is about to come out and announce who the person he demasked last week. Is that right? Demasked? Unmasked.
Unmasked.
There you go. So he comes out. They do a little fracas. The TNA people come out. Kurt's pointing at D'Lo Brown. D'Lo kicks Kurt in the nuggies. And we have revealed that the vice president is D'Lo Brown.
You wrestle with a real deal now.
And the entire wrestling world gives a collective sigh.
It could have been somebody so much better.
Here's my question: shouldn't a leader be someone in power, like a former world champion like Ken Anderson was, or Taz was, or one of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time, like Devon Dudley? I mean, how is Devon more credible than those guys?
The only way I can see it is he's part of the office. He's one of the main booking agents.
Right, so you're playing to the internet smart marks instead of playing to the whole audience.
Exactly. Which,
don't get me wrong, we're playing to the internet smart marks too. I'm not saying that as a negative connotation. All I'm saying is when you play to the internet too much, you alienate a lot of the audience.
Yeah, you're ignoring what 65% of it. You know, what was it, 35% of the fans, and it must be being generous, know a lot of the backstage going on and such.
Right. And a lot of people don't know who D'Lo is. He's just a guy that breaks up matches for them. A lot of people are young enough that they don't remember D'Lo during his career.
So when I did the messing with the real deal now, they probably didn't know what I was talking about?
Well, we got some, I would say fans...
I'm just kidding.
I would say fans probably 25 and younger, they might know him or have seen the tail end of his career, because really, he hasn't been anything important in 10 years.
No, he was a lackey for The Rock, then he was Mark Henry's second banana. And
I did like when they tagged him with, what was it, Chaz of the Headbangers? When they were low down.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, moving on. It was a terrible reveal. All in all, is what we're getting at. Moving on, we had the first in a 3-match series to determine who's going to have the advantage at Lethal Lockdown, which is a lot like the War Games. We had Sting versus Devon. It was a decent match. I think they meshed well together. The interference from the crowd without explanation, like, because, oh, that's an Aces and Eights member, which it obviously was. He has the t-shirt on, he has the thing on, and then getting cracked in the skull off the lead post. You know, off the ring post, I kind of think they seen what that did to the Brock Lesnar Triple H feud, and it's obvious it's Sting bladed because he protected himself going in, but yeah. I think they tried to use that to make this feud better.
There's nothing going to make this feud any better, I'm sorry. I hate to be like that, but they've really shit on the gimmick.
Well, Aces and Eights they're about as credible as 3-man band at this point.
Oh yeah. Right now,
it's the 2013 Job Squad.
Yeah. Right now, your two biggest factions in wrestling are Shield and Scum for Ring of Honor.
Exactly.
This Aces and Eights group, and they have a lot of bigger name people than both those groups, but that shows you name value doesn't really matter worth a shit when you have terrible writing and nobody's giving 100%.
Speaking of people that give 100%, we had Chavo and Hernandez with Velvet Sky versus Gail Kim and Bad Influence, Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. I thought it was a decent match. I think they jammed too much in this match because you got two of the teams that are going to fight next week or during the pay-per-view for the tag title, and you got the girls that are going for the Knockouts title. So I think they jammed a little much into it. However, I thought it was decent. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great. I've seen better from everybody involved, though.
Oh yeah. This was probably Chavo and Hernandez one of their better matches in TNA, but Bad Influence, it was probably one of their lower matches.
Yeah, exactly. Now, coming off of that, we had another tag team match, the second in the series for the Lethal Lockdown. Doc and Garrett Bischoff versus Samoa Joe and Magnus, who are former World Tag Team Champions. You said that you were impressed with Bischoff during this match.
I am. Bischoff is taken to being a heel. It's what's in his blood, dude. I mean, look at his dad. His dad's a natural heel. Doc and him mesh together. I like to see that a little bit more of that, but I did like the tag of Joe and Magnus. Former tag team champions themselves.
Yep.
And I don't know what they call their finishing setup move, but it was awesome.
I thought it was a decent match. It evened up the odds. TNA has one win. Aces and Eights has one win. So we came off of that. Earlier in the night, we had Lei'D Tapa and Ivelisse Velez in the back to determine who would be in the gut check segment. Now, the lady that won didn't get into the gut check, which doesn't make sense because wrestling, if you're going to have someone go in a gut check, they should win their match, especially when you're using two gut checks. It should be the winner goes up for it, period.
Exactly.
I mean, it's scripted. You can make whoever you want win or lose. It's not like it was a surprise win, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But anyway, so Lei'D Tapa comes out, and she wins a contract. And I'm very happy. If you remember last week, I said I wanted her to win the match just because she has that it quality that kind of like an Awesome Kong had, where you look at her and she looks like she should demolish the whole division.
Oh, I totally agree. Now, during their match last week, though, she was, I would say, greener than baby shit compared to what she should be. I think if someone works with her a lot more, and they brought that up during the gut check thing, too, which I was impressed they brought that up. I think with a little bit more time under her belt, she could be another Awesome Kong. Exactly. You know, she has a lot of ability, and she's got such a size, and she's not fat.
No.
She can move around. Plus, the Samoan heritage helps. The headbutt.
No, not the Samoan.
Or, sorry.
Tom.
Sorry.
You don't want to get in trouble with that again.
I did it on purpose.
Did you?
Yeah.
Anyway, coming off of that, let's go to our question of the week from last week. Now, the question was, since they split Rob Terry and Robbie E., who do you think is going to go on to have a bigger career? Now, before we get into our opinions, here's what we got from some of our friends. First one's from Choppy84. I think Rob Terry is going to shine the most because he's such a monster and very physically imposing. He reminds me of Batista because Batista was not good on the mic until he broke off from Evolution. Solid reason here. Next one's from Wethington25. I think Rob Terry has a look. His mic skills are not that good or that bad, plus TNA really don't have a powerhouse in it, and Big Rob could be that guy if they take their time and don't rush the push. He could be the Batista of TNA. So basically we have two very similar posts. The third's from our friend Joshua Adams 1044. Rob Terry will, I think, because he is a powerhouse and he gets a better reaction from the crowd. I really can't get behind the Robbie E gimmick. I hate the Jersey Shore ripoff. They had made some good points with the Batista comparison. I see where they're going with that. What do you think, Gary?
I'm going against the grain. I'm going to go with Robbie E. The guy has tremendous mic skills. I think they could start ditching, and he's lost a lot of the Jersey Shore stuff since he's been there. You remember how terribly it was at first.
Yeah, it's slowly evolving.
His matches are getting better by the week.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm going to give the edge just because he's a great talker to Robbie E.
I'm going to agree with our friends, though. Rob Terry is a very rare, freakishly sized man. And I agree with the Batista comparison, because Batista came in and he wasn't that great in the ring. But he eventually worked with some great wrestlers that made him better. Working with Triple H, working with Ric Flair, working with Randy Orton helped to make him better. And I think Rob Terry, if he could get working with the right guys, if he goes with the
Magnus. Okay, Magnus would be good.
if it will that, or if he works out with Team 3D, some of these guys, Taz would be a great guy to help him along the way. Give him some of the fundamentals he needs to get to that status. Now, coming off of that, our question of the week for this week. Do you guys think that Lei'D Tapa was the right choice to win Gut Check? Let us know what you think. Hit us up on our Facebook. Hit us up on our Twitter. Put it down where?
Down there.
Right down in the comments. And we'll tell you our opinion on that next week. Coming off of that, we got the third and final match for the Lethal Lockdown series. James Storm versus Mr.
Anderson. Sorry, my throat's a little messed up.
Anyway. I thought it could have been much better than it was. It wasn't a great match at all.
I think they should have had EY do it.
I agree. I think EY coming out, I think... Well, the only thing that I could think that would be negative with EY doing it is because Storm lost, they would have had EY losing.
His first match.
Yeah. And the way it's set up is that the face or the heels are going to have the advantage come Lethal Lockdown. Which
usually they do, and they should.
Yeah, exactly. That's Wrestling 101.
I mean, it's like when you look at War Games back in the day, how many times were the baby faces ever had the advantage?
Well, the one time they did, Kurt Hennig turned it. Freaking turncoat. Jabroni.
You were an NWO fan anyways.
I was a Horseman fan. Before there was 4 life, there was 4.
Wow.
A symbol of excellence.
Diamonds are forever. So are the 4 horsemen.
Exactly.
Oh, what a douchebag. Anyways.
I just thought it was a horrible match. I thought it wasn't good. I expect much better from both of these guys.
So look at the matches they came off of this week, or, recently. Anderson came off the matches with Angle. Storm was with...
everybody.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably Storm's worst match, would you say, of 2013?
Oh yeah, probably in a year. I just thought it was a bad match. Not anything against Storm or Anderson. I like them both. If you watch our TNA shows regularly, they're 2 guys I speak highly of, but...
Sometimes the magic doesn't happen.
Nope. And this was one of them times. The convoluted ending with the Aces and Eights distracting them, and then the brawl. It's actually, the brawl didn't happen until after that, but the Aces and Eights distracting Storm so Anderson could get the mic check and win. It's just been done before. Everything reeks of 96 NWO.
Except for the talent.
Exactly. Well, the talent's talent, good talent.
Exactly. Which is, okay, how about the
poorly
writing?
Booked.
Okay, there you go. Booking and writing.
Now, we had Jeff Hardy and Bully Ray had a powwow in the ring. Basically, they kissed each other's ass for about 5 minutes before Hulk Hogan came out and just had to do his Hulk Hogan FaceTime.
But I'll give them this. Their ass-kissing competition wasn't as good as Cena and Rock's ass-kicking competition on Monday night. Well, snooze fest. It wasn't that bad. I'm giving them props.
Either way. I thought it was a badly booked segment. This should not have gone after the Storm Anderson thing. That should have ended the show.
Well, as a show closer.
Yeah, and this was... I don't know. I mean, it's so obvious at this point that Bully Ray's going to have a heel turn very soon. He's being way too nice.
Yeah.
And that usually signs that. And coming off of that, before we forget, our Thunder Lips count of the week. We have 1 Thunder Lips.
Thank God.
Up.
Perfect amount for a show.
Although the show was terrible.
Yeah.
And, after that we had the Faces, the TNA team, and Aces and Eights rumbled to go off the air again. Let's book it like WCW, because that company is where now?
Down there. Buried. 6 feet deep. R.I.P. 7 years ago.
That's more than 7 years
ago.
Well,
11 years ago. Sorry,
Anyway. And that's the thing. They're stealing booking ideas from a company that pretty much went under. They're making a lot of the same mistakes. I hope they turn it around. I hope next week when they get out of the impact zone, it's going to give a little freshness to the show.
I sure hope so.
Now, before we rate this, let's go over our rating scale for those people that are new viewers. For those of you that are old viewers, we're going to reiterate it. We go from 1 to 5, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. Now, number 1 is a Garrett Bischoff, and number 2 is a Christian York. 3 is James Storm. 4 is Christopher Daniels. 5 is Kurt Angle. What would you give the show, Gary?
Give it to Kurt Angle. Not. I'm going to give it a Bischoff. I was very not impressed.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm giving a 1 a Bischoff.
It's a going home show before the pay-per-view.
And it's one of the worst TNAs that I can remember. I give it a 1. I give it a Bischoff. The storylines, although were advanced, they're boring. The matches weren't great. It seemed like a mailed in, like they're ready to go on the road and they're just like, okay, this is a formality, we got to do this one. It kind of reminded me of, when you quit a job and you're on your last week there and you just mail it in for the last week.
Like, fuck it.
Yeah, you know you're going to leave anyway. But that's the thing. To me, it didn't build the pay-per-view well enough. It didn't do much for me. I give it a 1 as well. I give it a Garrett Bischoff. And, that's between this and Monday Night Raw, 2 of the worst wrestling shows I've seen in a long time. Hopefully, I haven't watched Main Event yet. Hopefully Main Event, SmackDown, and the Ring of Honor show give us some good wrestling this week, and the pay-per-view.
This is this is wrestling season right now.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be the high point of wrestling. This is where WWE is supposed to step up, and so is the competition. And it is freaking terrible. I remember the day. It's terrible. I remember the day after Royal Rumble. I'm like, all right, now we're getting some really good wrestling. We're getting some really good stuff. It's been pretty much shit with a little bit of glitter. Since WrestleMania or since Royal Rumble. Would you agree?
I would agree. But basically, that's all I have to say. Anything else you need to?
That's it.
Well, my name is George Coles.
Gary Rhodes.
And this has been Heel Heat.